Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Namaste everyone, welcome to class. Right off the bat, I see Pranatosmi. There's a Sandhih that's happening there. That's exciting. Pranatosmi. So it's Pranataha Asmi. Right? So you have Visarga preceded by A and followed by A. Just like Shivoham, right? So Shivoham's on the A and A. So it becomes O. And you see that Virama there. So so you see that the symbol there. So Pranata, so that's because there used to be an Akara there, and that Akara goes away. Right? Okay, some more Sandhis. So this is just exciting from the beginning. So we want to do this practice so that, you know, the more we kind of look at these in their more natural environment, so then when we look at the mantras or we look at the commentaries, things like that, right? When we look at the mantras for Upanishad, then we can see where the sandhis are taking place, right? So that's why we're taking them out of context and trying to do as much as we can. Ramaha Katayati, right? So it's just change of sound, right? So I mean, they're all just change of sounds, but this is Rama Katayati. Rama Katayati. Next one, we have Ramaha Aikshata. Visarga is preceded by A. So we always want to look at first what we're looking at, A, and then what is following. Following is Ai. So we have A, Visarga, Ai. Now, when that happens, right, it's what we call, it's that second column. If you can see the chart in your mind, I can pull it up here so you can know what I'm talking about. This, when we have is when you have preceding, that's when it becomes the most complicated for us. Because then there's three differentiations here, right? There's three different columns that para could fall in. So only when A is preceding, then you really want to make sure you're being careful. So we have a vowel other than short akara, right? So then our vowel or our visarga is going to drop, like Arjuna Uvacha Sandhi. Right? So Rama Aikshata. Next one we have Ramha Bhadate. So we have A visarga, then soft consonant, hush. So then it becomes like Namo Namaha Sandhi, O in this third column here. A, and then hush becomes O, Namo Namaha. So it becomes Ramo Bhadate. Ramo Bhadate. Next one, Ramaha Odanam. So now we have to look, we're in the second row. Okay, now when you have akara, this is much more simple than short akara. akara, right? It's just always the visarga drops if it's it's a vowel or a soft consonant. Okay, so then that becomes Rama Odanam. Or if I say Ramaha Badate, it'll be Rama Badate, right? Because soft consonant doesn't matter. Now we have Harihi Odanam. So now we have left side with ich, right? With ikara. And the para letter is O. So we have a vowel other than a. Now this is also kind of the same thing. This Guru Brahma Sandhi goes for all vowels and soft consonants. So we can be a little, it's not as difficult as short akara, right? So we come Harir Oldanam or Harir Namati. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions about Sandhi there. Okay, Hariprasadji, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit confused about this. Let's take a word, Devalaya. Devaha Alaya. Devaha is A, Visarga. Alaya, A. So strictly, according to this, the Visarga should drop.
Yeah.
So it is Deva Alaya. But
So,
why is it, then why, how come it becomes Devalaya?
That's a great question. So I put you on mute. So let me know if you still have a question after this. So we put Devaha Alaya, right? So how come it doesn't become Devo Alaya or something like that, or Devolaya or something like that, right? So one thing we have to note is there's a difference between when we apply Sandhi and something called samasa, okay? So samasa, not samosa. It's dinner time. We don't think samosa. Samasa. Samasa means compound word, okay? Now, sometimes you can put two words together to make a compound word. So for example, Devalaya, right? Devalaya means Devanam Alaya, right? The home, abode, Alaya, of the Devas, right? The home of the Devas. So Devalaya, Devanam Alaya. So when those two words are joined and there's a change in the meaning. So notice I'm not just saying Devaha and Alaya. The meaning is changing so that they have a relationship with each other. It's Devanam Alaya. You can combine together and make Devalaya. Okay, so there's a meaning change. There's a significant meaning when they're put together. As opposed to when you just have Sandhi. Sandhi is purely just a phonetic change. There's no meaning change that takes place, right? Because if I said Devaha Alaya, it would just mean Deva and home. But when I say Devalaya with the samasa, it means home of the gods. There's that sambandhe shashti involved there. When you have the Sandhi, which is pure Visarga Sandhi, like we're talking about, it's just a phonetical change. And there's no relationship that, there's no change in the meaning that takes place. Okay? So that's something to note there. Okay.
Can I ask you?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Then Devalaya is not a Sandhi?
Devalaya is, so it's a compound, and then within the compound, a sandhi takes place, okay? But a vowel sandhi. A and a becomes a. Short a and short a becomes a. So Devalaya.
Okay. Are you going to cover that portion also?
Yeah, so after Visarga sandhi, we go to vowel sandhi.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so we'll get that.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
there's a question about the homework, and we'll get to the homework after we talk about Sandhi. So keep your Sandhi books open. Let's chant our Maheshwara Sutra. Om A I Un Rilak E Ong I Ouch Haya Varata Larn Ngama Garnanam Jabhanya Ghadadash Jabagadadash Kapachatata Jatadav Kapai Sharshasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani. Okay, so we're keeping our Sandhi books open. We're going to go to the next one after Dukkham Sandhi. This is called Punah Punah Sandhi. Punah Punah Sandhi. So just if we look at the chart, it's, no, not this chart. I'll pull up the chart on the iPad here, yeah. Okay, so first of all, if we look at this whole overview of Visarga Sandhi, now what we're going to look at here is when we have, we're going to look at this when we have pa and pa as the following. Okay, so last time we saw any vowel can precede, right? And then we saw when ka or ka is the para letter. And there we got jifwa muliya, right? We got jifwa muliya. And you could get visarjaniya. Visarjaniya, the word just means visarga. It's another word for visarga. Okay, and you get visarga when that shar follows, right? Right, like when you get that ksha, for example. Okay, but we talked about that jifva mulya, the dukkham sandhi last time. Okay, so now we're going to look at this over here on the corner here. So you can flip a few pages. We're going to this punah punah sandhi. It's right after the dukkham sandhi. Let me know always if you can't find the page, just let us know in the chat. Someone can help you find the page, but you just keep going. You'll see that after dukkham, this it looks exactly like this. Okay. So here we have, it's page 29. Okay. We have this visarga. The preceding, it can be any vowel, right? We talked about visarga is always preceded by a vowel. Okay, so we don't even really need to look at this. Okay, when you see visarga and it's followed by pa or pa, then you get another smiley sad, right? We'll call and this is called upadmaniyaha. Okay, you can repeat after me. Upadmaniyaha. Okay, last time we saw it was called jifwa muliyaha when we saw ka, right? Jifwa muliyaha. And this is upadmaniyaha. Now, we saw jifwa muliya means the root of the tongue. Upadmaniya, I looked in the dictionary. I know there was a question last year when we looked at this. What they say is upadmane bhavaha iti upadmaniyaha. That which resides on the lips. There, upadma means lips. Okay, so resides on the lips. So that's the meaning of upadmaniya, that which stays on the lips. Okay, so when this happens, you get that upadmaniya. We can use the symbol for it, is the smiley sad there. And we can look at an example here, right? Ramaha pashyati. Now, when that happens, it becomes like an F sound in English. Fa, fa, fa. Right? So Ramaf pashyati. Ramaf pashyati. Or Ramaha Phalitaha becomes Ramah Phalitaha. Okay, so that's something important to note there is that this is the only time you see that F sound in Sanskrita. Okay? So, a lot of people, they say, okay, but this is fa, right? It's not technically fa, okay? We have pa and we have pa, mahaprana pa. So this is pa and this is pa. In Hindi, we say fa, but that's not in Sanskrit, it's just mahaprana pa, a little more air, pa. So pa, pa, not pa, fa, okay? So that's something to know. It's pa, pa. So only time we get that fa sound is with this udpadmaniya, okay? So ramaf palita. It's you blow through your round lips. That's why it said that which stays on the lips, yeah? So we see this a lot. We see this after every class. Pur namadaf, pur namidam, pur nad, right? So it's not pur namadaha, it's pur namadaf. Because you have visarga followed by pakara. Pur namadaf, pur namidam, right? So you want to make sure that pronunciation, it helps to know sandhi, why we're doing that, okay? So that helps us there. Let's look at some. So this sandhi, we call it Punah Punah Sandhih. Now, what you see this a lot in mantras, in the commentaries thing. Punah Punah means again and again, right? So they're stuck in samsara, Punah Punah again and again, right? So that's why this Punah Punah comes from. But we can pick up, if you like, Purushaf Purushaha. I mentioned that in the other class, right? Purushaf Purushaha. Yaf Pashyati. Mamakaf Pandavaschaiva, right? In Gita. Karmanaf Phalam. You can say them with me, right? Kriparnav Palahetavaha. Ishubhif Pratiyotsyami. Okay? So you get that fa sound and you just draw that smiley sad in between the two. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Harprasadji? Yes, go ahead. And then if anyone else has any, let me know.
Yeah, why is this symbol, smiley face, a smiley sad, is same for both Jihva Muliya and Upadmaniya?
Yeah, so it's not, I just jokingly call it smiley sad. It's just that symbol there, right? But it's the same for Jihva Muliya and Upadmaniya. The symbol stays the same.
Okay.
Yeah, but you often don't see it in mantras or bhashyam, right? This is, I think, something maybe newer that's added. So you often just see the visarga and then the pa.
Okay.
Right? So then you have to just know that it's pronounced when you're chanting Ramaf Phalita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can be Alpa Prana Pa or Maha Prana Pa. Okay. And we know that because, right, pa and pa are hard consonants. We want to, it is a hard consonant, so it's in this section right here. Okay. Any other questions there? We're going to do one more small sandhi rule that I know that I've been leaving out for some time, okay? So if we look at the chart, so this chart's in the beginning of the Visarga Sandhi book. Now, there's this all the way at the bottom, okay? All the way at the bottom here. You see it says there's an exception to these rules. If you have saha, remember is 1-1 of tad shabda. Saha or eshaha, which is one of etad shabda in masculine. Okay? When that takes place, that and you do get o, just like shivoham. You get like soham. Okay, so that rule, it works there. But everything else, no matter what it is, it's a vowel, soft consonant, or a hard consonant, visarga drops. So you get saha eva becomes sa eva. Saha purushaha becomes sa purushaha. Okay, so you don't get that upadmaniya there. You don't get any of the other sandhi rules. Okay, you don't get Guru Brahma Sandhi. Basically, you get just like Shivoham, you get Soham, and then everything other than Akara, even hard consonants, it just drops there. So Saha Eva, Sa Eva, Saha Purusha, Sa Purusha, Esha Purusha. So you can write that in here. You can write Visarga drops, right? I can't write it. You can just put Visarga drops, just write that in there. So that's the exception, right? Otherwise, it'll fit into this chart and it'll look like just the way we're looking at it. So we still have, this rule is quite specific. We don't need to look at this until we get to more advanced, the next book. This section right here, so don't worry about that. We still have to fill in this section, which we'll do next time. Okay, these three. But that will just take, that's our last Sandhi, and then we'll so next class we'll do that Sandhi, after that we'll do a vowel Sandhi. So we're going to whole new section. Okay, so we're almost done with this. Hopefully these patterns are becoming more and more familiar. I know it's hard. It took me a few times to remember. You really have to remember this section right here. That when that short follows, it becomes more difficult because there's a lot more rules. So I would just, try to look at this chart, try to maybe print it out, look at it if you can. This chart is really helpful. It's kind of what we need to kind of imprint into our mind over time through practice. And that's why I like this book a lot, because she makes nice charts. Charts are not easy to make. Okay. So if we look at this is that same Saha rule, right? So Saha Asti. Can you tell me in the chat, what does Saha Asti become? You have to be careful. I'm tricking you here. Be a little bit more careful. When you have and yeah, it follows the rule, right? Soham. So it becomes sosti. Yeah, sosti. Okay. Saha agachati. Now everything else, right? Now everything else. So everything drops. Saha agachati becomes sa agachati. Saha iti, sa iti. Sa upavasati, sa upavasati. And same with soft consonants. Saha gachati, sa gachati. Right? So that's how that is, okay? So those are some exercises that are there. Okay, let's see what the... Yeah, Harprasadji. And we're gonna, wait 1 second. Before, we're gonna transition to our book 1. We're gonna look at those Kim Shabda, some of the homework, just the last questions, and then we're going to, we'll finish up from there. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is it not sosti?
Yeah, sosti. And I put that, what do you call that? The S,
Avagraha. Avagraha.
avagraha, not virama. Avagraha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wrote say.
Let me just pull it up. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Just not being careful. Yeah, sosti.
Yeah. Okay.
I was so focused on avagraha.
Thank you.
So we're going to look at this exercise number 18, what we did for homework. Okay. One thing to note is that number one, all the answers are wrong in the book. That's not helpful, is it? All the answers are wrong. Okay, let's figure out why the answers are wrong. Okay, so if we say he saha ishvara ikshate, that would mean that Ishvara is the object of seeing, right? He sees Ishvara. So then the sentence would become Saha Ishvaram Ikshate. So this is our incorrect translation. It should say that Ishvara sees, because it's an adjective to Ishvara. That Ishvara sees. That Ishvara that we've been talking about in Mundaka Upanishad, that Ishvara sees, right? Then same with Esha, this Ishvara sees. Now, Kaha Ishvara Ikshate, same thing, right? Which Ishvara sees, because it's an adjective to, so this is not a right translation. Who sees Ishvara? That would mean Ishvara is an object of seeing. Which Ishvara sees, okay? So this whole number one, I wanted to point that out, is not correct, okay? So I don't even want to take this off. It says it should be which Ishvara sees, because it's the karta, right? Kartari prathama to ikshate. Let's do another mistake in here, just so since I'm on that. It says etabhyam for number 8. It should say kabhyam. Okay, there's a copy and paste mistake there. Okay, number kabhyam. So thank you to Mukulji for pointing that out. Yeah. Okay, let's do some of these harder ones. So there's a question about number 10, I believe. No, there's a question about. Yeah, Urmilaji, which question are you asking about? You can let me know. In the meantime, we'll do this number 14. Okay. So we want to look at the verb, right? Vrajati. Vraj dhatu, 1P, to go. Latlakara, kartri prayoga, third one. So he, she, it goes. Now, who goes? You want to look for your 1-1. Putra goes. The son goes. Son of who? Right? Of the person. But it says kasya purushasya. So we don't know who the person is. So we can say the son of which person goes. Or which person's son goes. The son of which person goes, or which person's son goes. Right? So the son of which person goes. So we know the son goes, but the son of kasya purushasya, of which it's that sambandhe shashti with putra. Okay, and kasya is adjective to purushasya. Which person? Okay, let's look at number 10. There's another question about number 10. Kasmai acharyaya namaha. Now, notice when namaha, there's often not a verb. So we can add bhavati or asti, but so we don't need it usually with namaha, but just to make it complete, we can always add bhavati or asti. Now, um, now we also don't have a 1-1, right? So we can say, we can add saha if we want to. But namaha means salutations. Now, salutations is to who? To the acharya. But there's an adjective. Kasmai is an adjective to acharyaya. Okay, they're both 4-1. They're both samanadhikaranam. So it's saying which teacher. So salutations to which teacher? Are you talking about the teacher at Arshavidya Gurukulam, the teacher at Chinmay Mission, the teacher in, right, whatever temple, you know, it doesn't. So which teacher are you saluting to? Yeah, we can put the verb as namati also, because nam is a dhatu, but a lot of times you see namaha, right? So let's look at one more, and then we'll wrap up soon. Okay, 15. They get harder, I feel like, as they go on. So that's why I'm picking some of the laters on. Bodhati, right? Buddhatu, 1p, to know. Okay, so sorry, there's a question on the last one before I go to this. There's a question is how do you know when you decide it's an adjective or not an adjective? So that's usually when two words are in the same case, right? And so you have to look at, they have the same case. Then when they have the same case, then you want to question, is this samanadhikaranam or not? Okay. When they have the same case, they don't need to be adjective, substantive, or subject predicate. They don't have to be. They could be referring to two different objects. But you have to see, does it make sense? Now that there's two words in the same case, does it make sense that one can be adjective, one can be substantive? And a lot of times you'll find that that relationship does work. You have to see the context, of course, right? And with these sentences, you don't have the context. But that a lot of times you can, you know, if it makes sense, then you can go with it, right? So namaha, we would say namaha to acharya, right? Now we have kasmai. Now kasmai, so if you took it, you know, because they have the same case, you can say, okay, they might be samanadhikaram. So when you say salutations to which teacher? I mean, otherwise, if you didn't take samanadhikaram, you can say, for what? Maybe is there salutations to the teacher? For what reason? Or, but even reason, you would usually use tritiya or panchami, right? Reason, hito. So that fourth case is that you know, offering, that relation, giving usually. So it makes sense that they would be in samanadhikara. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that doesn't make sense there, or if there's any further questions with that. Yeah. Tayoho jivayoho sambandham bodhati. Okay, so bodhati. Buddhatu 1p, to know, latlakara, karti prayoga, third one. Okay, this process you should be able to do in your head without looking. Okay? And that's okay if you can't, but we need to that's why we did all those exercises in the beginning. You can, if you don't know the dhatu, that's fine. We should be able to say latlakara, karti prayoga, third one, right? Because we see two. And notice how I say third one and not 3-1, okay? We want to make that, we always make that differentiation. That's not a traditional thing, but to note that is a verb as opposed to a noun, okay? So don't write 3-1, you would write one at third one. So just make a differentiation. Okay, bodhati, knows. Now there's no 1-1 in this sentence. So we have to supply one. So usually we reply saha, 1-1. So he knows. He knows what? He knows sambandham, right? That's the object, 2-1. He knows the relationship. Relationship of jiva yoho, of the jivas. But now you have kayoho jiva yoho. Of which jivas does he know the relationship? Or he knows the relationship of which jivas? Of which jivas does he know the relationship, right? Or here she says the relationship of which two jivas does he know? And so either way, it just, the word order can change slightly in English, but you get that, you can convey the same thing, right? Relationship of which jivas does he know? So I want to say, so there's a question in the chat. So if I want to say who worships the acharya, it would be kaha acharyaya namati. So yeah, kaha would be who. So kaha, who salutes acharya, to the teacher. Yeah, that would be fine. So kaha jivaha acharyaya namati, which individual prostrates to the teacher? One thing to note, and I'll have to check up on this, namati, when it's a verb, you want, I think it might take the object may take second case. No, let's leave this. Nama, it's still let's leave it as it is. I don't want to say that. I don't want to get things too confused. But namaha, usually when it's namaha by itself, you automatically get that 4-1. But I'll just check up on the, when you put namati as opposed to namaha. Okay, so our time is up. So we'll take a 5-minute break. Let me know if you have any more questions with these. Right, the rest of these answers are pretty good. So you can look at this for afterwards, and then you can see. Is there a question? Kodiji, you have a question? Yeah. Okay, wait, 1 second. Trying to unmute you. Can you try to unmute yourself? It's not working from my side. Yeah.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Is it a vibhakti there?
Yeah, so Gurubhyo is Gurubhyaha. So that's 4-3. So I'm saying my salutations to the teachers.
There is no Gurubhyo when I look at the textbook.
Yeah, so Gurubhyo is Guru Shabda, which ends with ukara, and then when it becomes 4-3, fourth case, Chaturthi Vibhakti Bahuvachanam, it becomes Gurubhyaha.
It is Gurubhya, not Gurubhyo.
So yeah, because there's a Sandhi rule that takes place. So it's Gurubhyaha originally, then Namaha, but then Sandhi, so then Gurubhyo Namaha.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only difference. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's Namo Namaha Sandhi. Yeah. Okay, so now you'll see Sandhis everywhere. Okay, so take a few-minute break. I'll answer questions in the meantime, but make sure you have some water, use the bathroom, come back. So if I want to say who worships the acharya, will it be kaha acharyaya namati, kaha acharya phalam dadati? Let's take fourth case. Oh yeah, so we answered the first one. So kaha acharyaya. So kaha acharyaya phalam dadati will be who offers or who gives the fruit to the teacher. But if you want to say to which teacher, you would kasmai acharyaya. To which teacher? But yeah, this is saying which person gives the fruit to the teacher.